Section 1. The legal aspects of property ownership. Bundle of rights. When discussing property ownership, you will hear the term bundle of rights. This is the various interests or rights an owner has in the property he/she owns. Real property. Immovable is the category of property that is immovable by law. X include load-bearing walls, stock in a mutual water company, and minerals. Personal property. Movable, also known as chattel, is the category of property that is generally movable. Personal property can be hypothecated, alienated, and become real property. Personal property can never A. Become real property, B. Be hypothecated, C. Be alienated, D. None of the above. Greater than answer. Fixtures. Trade fixtures. Riparian rights. River or stream are water rights in regard to a moving body of water like a river or a stream, as opposed to literal rights, which are in regards to body of waters that stands still, such as a lake. Literal rights. Lake, sea, or ocean. Hypothecate. Pledge as security without giving up possession. Appurtenances. Which of the following is not appurtenances to real estate? A. Growing trees, B. Buildings, C. Fences, D. Trade fixtures. Greater than answer. Estate. The degree of ownership a person would have in real property. Real estate license. The license of selling, the degree of ownership of a real estate. Freehold estate. Ownership for an undefined length of time is an estate in which ownership is for an indeterminate length of time. Fee simple estate. A fee simple defeasible life estate. Fee simple estate. Fee simple absolute. Greatest interest estate in fee can't be defeated by the previous owner, not free of encumbrances. A fee simple defeasible may be voided at a later because of a condition was violated. Puts conditions on the use of a property. X. If an owner could lose title if the condition that no alcohol is sold on the property. Freehold estate held without qualifications is fee simple absolute. If qualified, it is fee simple defeasible. One man transferred title to a house with a condition that no alcoholic beverages would be sold on the premises. The estate created is known as A. Fee simple absolute. B. Estate and forfeiture. C. Fee simple defeasible. Greater than answer. D. Estate and reversion. Life estate. The holder of a life estate can do all of the following except A. Sell it. B. Lease it. C. Will it. D. Borrow against it. Greater than answer. Freehold estate includes A. Estates for years. B. Leasehold estates. C. Life estates. Greater than answer. D. All of the above. Less than freehold estate. An estate held by someone who rents or leases property, also referred to as a leasehold estate. A less than freehold estate is held by a lessee. It is important to note that it is not necessary to sign for a lessee because acting as a lessee is the same as signing as a lessee. A leasehold estate. Estate for years. Can be for any fixed period of time. No notice to be terminated is needed. X. Summer rental, 6 months lease. It is personal property and is also called chattel real. X. If a tenant leased a warehouse for 6 months, that tenant would have an estate for years. If one uses the words of definite duration to describe a lease, it is most likely A. Periodic tenancy. B. Estate for years. Greater than answer. C. Life estate. D. Estate at severance. A family rents a house from January 1st to June 30th. This is considered A. Periodic tenancy. B. Tenancy at severance. C. Estate for years. Greater than answer. D. Tenancy at will. Periodic tenancy. Not bound to a lease with a fixed period, follows a period such as week to week, month to month, and year to year. Proper notice must be given to terminate this lease. A month-to-month lease is considered A. Periodic tenancy. Greater than answer. B. Estate for years. C. Life estate. D. Tenancy at severance. Estate at will. Can be ended at any time. Lessee has the right to possession until terminated. The terms of the estate is indefinite. An estate at severance. Joe leases a residence from Stephen on a 3-month written lease. Upon expiration of the written lease, Joe retains possession of the property without the consent of Stephen. Stephen now holds A. Estate at severance. Greater than answer. B. Estate for years. C. Estate at will. D. Periodic tenancy subject to eviction. All of the following are considered less than freehold estates except A. An estate for years. B. A life estate. Greater than answer. C. A periodic tenancy. D. An estate at severance. Oral leases can be binding, but generally leases are written. Tenant is the lessee and has exclusive possession of the property. Landlord is the lessor and has a reversionary right. Reversionary right means the owner has the right to regain possession of the property after the lease has expired. By conveying less than a fee estate, the grantor-lessor retains A. Reversionary interest. Greater than answer. B. Remainder interest. C. Limited interest. D. Future interest. Lease 1 is a bilateral contract because both the landlord and tenant have obligations to perform, can restrict the tenant's use of the property and specify the conditions that a security deposit may be retained. Lease 2 assignment is a transfer of contract rights. X. Sublet is when a tenant rents to another while maintaining responsibility. A person who had leased a property for 3 years had to move out of state before the lease period had expired. In reading the lease, there was no mention of either subleasing or assignment of the leasehold. The lessee A may sublease or assign the lease greater than. Answer B may assign the lessee only. C must have the permission of the landlord to either sublease or assign the lease. D the lessee may not either sublease or assign the lease. A valid lease must contain these essential elements: mutual agreement, consideration, capable parties, lawful object. Constructive eviction. Landlord either does something or fails to do something that he has a legal duty to provide. X fail to provide the heater. Lease arrangements. Gross lease, net lease, lease option, percent lease. Gross lease. Tenant pays a fixed amount, landlord pays for expenses, opposite of a net lease in which these expenses are incurred by the lessee. Which type of lease requires the lessee to pay flat rent? A. Gross lease greater than. Answer B. Percent lease. C. Sandwich lease. D. Net lease. Net lease. Tenant pays taxes, insurance, and maintenance, often referred to as a triple net lease. A tenant signs a lease that stipulates that the lessee pays the property tax. This lease is probably A. Standard lease. B. Sandwich lease. C. Net lease greater than. Answer D. Reverse lease. Lease option. Percentage leases. Based on percent of revenue, the amount of rent paid by the lessee is determined by calculating a percentage based on the gross receipts of the lessee's business. A lease where the rent is based on percent of the monthly or annual gross sales of the lessee is called A. Gross lease. B. Sandwich lease. C. Net lease. D. Percent lease greater than. Answer. Quiet enjoyment and possession. Possession will not be disturbed by anybody with superior title. Tenant of a rental apartment and the owner of a condominium. Both the tenant of a rental apartment and the owner of a condominium hold an estate in real property. A condo is a freehold estate and an apartment is a less than freehold estate.